Record. Okay, so let's talk about this coming weekend. Like I mentioned before we started recording here, we're going to start on Friday night. We're going to record the service Friday night, 6:30 p.m. We'll do a mix down just like we did this past weekend and upload that to all the platforms that I mentioned last week, and we'll distribute the video there. For those of you who are participating, and if you are, I'll say this, if you are participating in Friday night, I've already reached out to you today, or someone has reached out to you today. So if you're wondering if you're participating or if you're on the schedule for this weekend, don't follow the schedule for this weekend. Those of you who are participating, I've already reached out to you. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a rehearsal at 4:30 p.m. We'll meet up, do our debrief before, or our pre-brief before at 6 o'clock, and then we'll go live with our service just in the sanctuary there at 6:30 p.m. We really have to follow that 10-person limit inside our building as closely as we possibly can. And so I really wish we could involve more of you in the service, but we've got to keep a really tight lid on that as close as we possibly can to 10. And so we're not going to include horns or choir. And for the camera team this weekend, I'm going to do a director and a cam one individual. So I apologize for that, but that's just kind of the week that we're in right now. And hopefully this will pass quickly and we can get back to having everybody engaged in what's happening there. So tomorrow, I didn't want to change things around in PCO before I had an opportunity to talk to you guys. So tomorrow you'll see the schedule change in Planning Center to reflect those who are actually going to be on the schedule for this weekend. Everybody cool with that? Any questions about this weekend?
Just a question, I guess, for so you said you'll be reaching out tomorrow, correct? If there's any.
No, we've actually already reached out today. So
okay. Sorry, you were cutting. I heard bits and pieces. It was cutting out on my end. So.
Oh, sorry about that. So
no, probably
basically, no, that's okay. Basically, who we have lined up right now is Randy C. Smith is going to run audio. Alan's going to run projection. Greg Collins is going to do cam one. I'm still waiting to hear back from our camera director. Keys and Cajon, we are TBD right now. And then the staff, Brendan, Sheila. Man, why do I keep calling Brendan Brenda? Man, Brendan. You need it happens every time I'm getting ready to say the word "and" after Brendan. So I'm gonna list you last. So Sheila, Jessica, and Brendan and I will also be participating. I may be out playing. I might be behind the scenes doing some techie things. We haven't decided yet. We're still kind of getting our ducks in a row for what that's going to look like. But going to be a nice small team, and we'll do our best to make sure that it's a meaningful service for this weekend. Good question, though.
Sounds good. Just wanted to clarify
if
I was still on the schedule or not. So good to know.
Yeah, no, not for this weekend.
Okay.
Not for this weekend.
Okay. Just wanted
Thank
to
you
check.
Thank you for jumping in last weekend. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Brenda, for helping out.
You got it.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? I don't want to move too fast past our schedule there. Does anyone have any questions about that, or is there any gray areas that I'm not thinking about right now?
Will you still be able to record in the room down there when you're on platform?
So what I'm thinking about doing, Randy, and what I'm thinking about doing is recording actually next to you, since we're doing the post-production mix on the stream. Basically, multi-track record next to you. I'll bring it home to my studio here at home, mix everything down, and then add it over the video. Then over the top. But yeah, that's a good question. Good question. That's what I'm planning on doing there.
Okay.
For what it's worth, Matt, the mix was really good on Sunday.
Oh, thank you.
It sounded really good online.
Good. I'm glad.
Best it's ever sounded for sure.
You could definitely tell the difference in the bass and the drums on the stream.
Yeah.
It was up.
Good.
The normal.
Good.
Look at it. Those ads you made was good.
Good. Well, that came from, for those of you who don't know, that came from pulling the mixer out of the chapel and moving it into the studio and just running all the inputs through that. So it's working really well right now, and I'm excited about that. And what I'm really excited about is, and I'm glad that you guys can hear a difference, because I'm hoping that this will spark some energy to expand kind of our online ministry for those who are interested in serving in that capacity. I would love to see that area of our team grow as we kind of return to our normal. I think this could be something really good that comes out of this time.
Well, I originally watched it on the FBMWorship team channel. And then after it was all said and done, I went back to on the web iPad.
Yeah.
Listen to the the app, and I could actually tell a difference in the audio between those two platforms. So I just figured that the YouTube didn't have quite the bandwidth on it. But
yeah, that could have been, or just the way that they compress the audio too whenever it gets uploaded.
Because I went back a couple different times to listen to it on my different devices, and on the app on my phone and through my iPad was definitely improved, definitely good quality.
Good. Okay, well, hey, let's keep moving here. I want to bring to your attention some new things to look out for this week. So just to reiterate, there will be no Wednesday night rehearsal this week. We're doing our rehearsals just right before before we record on Friday night. And then we'll have our stripped down team that records on Friday night, and then we will publish that at 10:30 on Sunday morning. So I want to walk through some new things that we're doing this week to try to stay in touch with you guys. And we just want to pour into you. We want to develop you as much as we can. I know that you all have a lot of different things pulling for your attention right now, between trying to adjust to a new normal at work for a lot of you, to now some of you are homeschool parents, to for the first time. So we want to do our best to do whatever we can to serve you and to make your life easier during this time. So there are a few things that we're doing. Number one, and I mentioned this on last week's call, virtual worship nights. Our first virtual worship night is going to be this Thursday evening at 7:00. And we're going to be recording that ahead of time and putting that together, and then premiering it on our YouTube channel. And then we'll also post it on the Facebook group as well. But we just want to give you 30 minutes that you can pull away in your home and sing songs together with your family, if that's something you guys do, or sing songs by yourself, or whatever it is. But we want to give you an opportunity during the week to pull away from the chaos, to pull away from, if you're experiencing anxiety or fear right now, just to focus your mind on God and sing his truths for half an hour. So Thursday night, 7:00 p.m., watch for that to drop on our YouTube channel. And I'm excited to see what comes out of that. That's a brand new thing that we've never done before. The next thing that we're doing is we've started a brand new podcast, and I sent this out last week. We've been uploading episodes to our YouTube channel while we've waited for all of our shows to be accepted on the platforms, and everything's gone through now. So we are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and Stitcher and TuneIn and YouTube, like I mentioned. So if you listen to podcasts, if you're a consumer of podcast content, let me encourage you to go check that out. We talk about, basically, we use that as an opportunity to talk about worship and theology. We talk about some ideas around worship, talk about ideas around theology, but then we also talk about practical things that apply to worship, whether it be how to worship in your home, And Brendan's working on an episode right now on setting in-ear mixes, which only applies to some of you. I get that. Not every episode will apply to everyone, but we're trying to make it informative. We're trying to make it edifying, and we're trying to make it entertaining as we possibly can. So check those out. I'll include this video right here. As soon as we get done recording this, I'm going to upload it to our YouTube channel and then send that out in the weekly. I'll send out the weekly this evening, and I'll include links to all of the podcasts there. And so episode 2 is already up. We just posted that this afternoon. So you can go check that out. Excuse me. And then speaking of podcasts, I posted this last Saturday, but I'm doing, just for fun for the group right now, I'm doing an Ask Me Anything episode. So if you have any questions about worship, if you have questions about theology or the church, or about music or creativity, or about diesel engines, if you have any questions about the economy of the Middle Ages, throw them out there. I can't promise that I'll know everything that you might have questions about, but I'm going to take a crack at answering it. So I fully expect some really ridiculous questions, but hopefully it can be helpful to you if you have some questions. Matt, I know you went on a couple of days ago and you asked about songwriting and creativity, and I've been kind of putting my outline together in my head as far as how to answer that. And so I've got some good thoughts there that I want to share. And I think Teresa mentioned about the hazer that we use during our services, and I have some thoughts that I want to share there. So anything and everything, throw it out there. I expect the absurd to the thoughtful to come my way, if it can be of help to you during this time. So I'm hoping to record that on Thursday and then get it published before the weekend. Brendan is working, like I said, he's working on an episode about setting in-ear mixes. Jessica's working on an episode right now that has to do with approaching your service, every team member from volunteer to staff to everybody in between, approaching your service with a professional mentality, and how pros kind of approach things versus and owners, how owners and pros approach things versus versus just I'm doing this because someone else told me to do this type of mindset. I don't have the right word for that, but you get what I'm saying there. So she's going to be doing an episode on that. And then Sheila is going to be doing an episode on, Sheila, what's your episode on?
I think it's about how worship, the worship team affects the church or something like that. The impact that
the worship team has on the full body of believers that are gathered. Yes. So so we're going to be cranking through those. We might have all 3 of them done by next week. I don't know. We're trying to keep that in pace with everything else we're doing. But those are some things coming your way. And if you guys have episode ideas, or if you have topics that you want us to explore, let us know. We're happy to help you out anything we can right now. Okay. Very cool. So those are some new things that are coming up. Last thing, and we'll get off here by 7:30. I want you to know that we are, our aim and our goal through this whole process, no matter how long this lockdown lasts, that we're here to walk with you guys through this, as your church, as your ministry, the worship ministry, but also just as your friends and your companions, just through this whole process. We want to walk with you through this. And so that means that if you are suffering during this time, if you're hurting, if you've got anything that's giving you pressure right now that you're having a hard time handling, reach out to us. I've asked Sheila and Jessica and Brendan, look at that, I got it right. I've asked Sheila and Jessica and Brendan, as well as myself, we've divided the team up into kind of 4 parts, and we are going through and just connecting with you guys, text messages, phone calls, emails, whatever, we can do to stay in touch with you. Once a week, we're going to be reaching out to you and making sure you're doing okay, and making sure you've got food and electricity and water and, money to cover your bills and things. And so if there's anything that you need, you don't have to make a big public display of it. Just come to us personally, and we'll do what we can, anything that we can to help you out and work with you through this. So we definitely want to follow the lead of the early church here, who they had all things in common. They bore one another's burdens. When one member was hurting, the whole body was hurting, and they came along and they walked along with them. So it's definitely important. Okay. Other thing that we want to do to minister to you during this time is we want to administer the Lord's Supper. And so on April 5th, that was a Lord's Supper weekend that we already had planned. What we've done, the deacons, they've gotten together and they've ordered some individual pre-wrapped servings of the elements of the Lord's Supper, and they have them available at the church. If you would like that and you want to partake, just come, grab your elements before then, and then on Sunday morning the 5th, you can take the Lord's Supper together with your family in your home, and then obviously with your extended church family. If you have your own bread and crackers or wine or grape juice or whatever your choice is, if you have that available and you want to use that, go for it. The important thing is don't use, it's probably not best to use, like Pepsi and Velveeta. The elements themselves are important. So stick close to, as close as possible to bread and wine as you can without going too far off the ranch, or bread and grape juice without going too far off the ranch there. Okay. Those are important, but if you don't have those lying around, feel free to drop by the church and you can pick up your own individual servings there. All right. And then final thing, Tom is going to continue to put out video updates for the church on Tuesdays and Fridays. Those will come out via the network, that COVID-19 or the coronavirus update distribution list that we've been putting together. So if you are not signed up for that, go to the FB Maryville website. It's the very first slider on the webpage, or I'll include the link to that whenever I send out the weekly. You can check it there, but just make sure you're signed up for the updates, because those are really helpful, and it'll help you kind of stay up to speed as far as what we're doing. But hey, it's exciting because ministry is continuing to happen. People are coming. They have needs. The Fox Theater, I guess I can say this. I don't know. If not, I apologize. But the Fox Theater on Wednesday, their chef, they've got some food that's about to go bad. And so Wednesday, their chef is going to cook up a bunch of meals and bring them over to the church. And we're going to distribute them from there and help some folks who are just working through this process and people who are hurting. So that's pretty exciting, being able to help meet some needs. And then I think we've had, I think 41 people go on the website and say that they want to help out in any way they can. And so we've got that infrastructure in place to meet needs as they come up, and needs have continued to come up. And we've had new people who are signing up to be care callers. And I should have led with this, but we had 2 people pray to receive Christ this weekend through our services. And they wrote in and just said that they prayed with Tom at the end, and that it was a new day for them. And so that's really exciting, and neat to see that the Lord is working through our efforts, however humble they may be and however dispersed we are right now, that he's taking the first fruits of our labor that we're giving to him, and pulling all the pieces together. So I am encouraged, and hopefully not overly encouraged. But I am very optimistic right now, and I want to encourage you guys in that. If you are not optimistic right now, let us minister to you and let us walk with you through this process. Okay? right. Very good.
Yes.
Well, anybody have any questions? I know we're right here at 7:30 and I want to get you off here, but if anyone has any questions, I'll take a quick 2 or 3 questions.
What were our stats this past weekend for
Yeah,
viewership?
good question. So Vimeo, we had about 1,200 people access the Vimeo link on our website. We then had another 70 to 80 who watched on the YouTube page. Facebook group, they don't really give you stats because it's a closed group. And so I would say, well, I'm not even going to estimate. I don't know how many video views we had there. But the FB Maryville Facebook page, since it's a public page, I haven't followed up with them, but I will see. I think it was over 100 that watched on the Facebook page there. So we probably had, I'm going to estimate around 1,300 to 1,400 devices at least link up and watch our content this weekend.
Hey, Matt, I actually looked at the Facebook page earlier today, and it said like 798 views.
So 790. Oh, underneath the video where it had the caption.
Yeah.
Yeah, that very
I
well.
guess that's accurate.
Yeah, and that very well could be. That video has been posted now for, 36 hours at this point. So I'm sure that's captured a lot of residual views and things like that. I need to be better about that this weekend, just logging in around 1 o'clock and seeing what that actually looks like to see how many people are watching on Sunday morning. Hey, but nevertheless, I mean, that's still awesome that we're reaching, almost 800 people just on our Facebook page alone and being able to encourage people. That's the main thing, is ministering to people, encouraging them, and helping people to have the strength not to buy into hysteria right now. We want to live in the real world. There are some serious things happening, but we don't, there's no reason to succumb to hysteria at this point. Well, at any point. So, all right. Well, hey, appreciate you guys. I will post this video here in just a few minutes. And if you guys have any other questions, just feel free to reach out, respond to the email that I send out, and we should be good.
Okay.